Hey guys, so V.I.F here. That sounds a little bit too much like Vsauce, like the hey Michael Vsauce or something like that. So yeah. So what's up guys? This is very exciting because this is my very first coaster review. So I'm looking forward to this, and I don't know what plan I have for like these coaster reviews, but this is going to be really cool because Steel Vengeance is the first new coaster I've ridden in a while, and definitely one of the most important. So let's get into this a little bit here. So I rode Steel Vengeance on June 7th, and I'll start off by saying that I've never ridden an RMC until Steel Vengeance, so this was all an entirely fresh experience for me, and hey, what better way to be introduced to RMC than with their craziest project yet. So let's hop into this, and I'll tell you a little bit of what I got out of this coaster, and man, there's a lot to talk about. So first of all, the queue was really well set up. It was really cool. I absolutely love how they did this queue. This was one of my favorite waiting experiences for any coaster I've been on, despite it not having super heavy theming. Because the only queue lines that I found to be cooler than this one are like the ones with theming. Like some of the ones at Disney World, like Space Mountain and Tower of Terror, that kind of thing. So, but what's so cool about this queue is that the entire coaster wraps around it, and you can see all the track just endlessly winding around the area, and you get super close to some of it. So, like you're standing right next to the drop and looking straight up at it, literally straight up. So, you're also just a few yards away from the third inversion, I think. So you can just see it like flash through the structure, just right next to you, and the twisted snake dive goes like way above you. It's super cool. So now they did have a little bit of theming, including a lot of signs that you could read about the history of Frontier Town, and I thought that served as pretty nice entertainment as we waited. So now for ride experience. Firstly, I thought the restraints were super nice. Not everybody's gonna agree with me, but I don't know, I liked them. They remind me of the Intamin T-bars, like on Millennium Force, but just a little bit less free because of the shin guards, and you're also down in the seat a little bit lower, but it's real comfortable. So, but your upper body is still totally free, and so I had no issue with the restraints. The smoothness was also incredible on this ride. Very smooth, and I knew that smoothness wouldn't be an issue since it's RMC, but dang, I didn't even know it was possible for a coaster to be this smooth. I had subconsciously thought that rides like Maverick, Millennium Force, and maybe Gatekeeper a couple years ago were about as smooth as it gets. But Steel Vengeance was so smooth, it was just weird, but awesome. You know, you almost can't feel the speed because of the smoothness, and some people have complained about this, but I actually really like this feel. I mean, the pacing is there, and in my opinion, pacing is way more important than speed, except maybe on giga coasters. For most rides, pacing is what makes it feel fast, and for Steel Vengeance in particular, you kind of forget about pacing for the first half because every element is just so perfect that each one becomes an endless euphoric experience in and of itself, especially those huge airtime moments after the drop. Those things feel like they last forever, but they're also insanely powerful for such large hills. On my first ride, I was instantly blown away by the negative G's I was feeling, and that was the moment when I first realized the true genius and straight up savagery that RMC is known for. You may have heard some people, Taylor being one of them, say that the second half of this coaster is better than the first half. And while it's hard for me personally to decide which half I like better, I think Taylor might be right. The second half is where the pacing really picks up. you get to go through the structure and get some ridiculous head choppers, and you get thrown around a lot more violently. Unfortunately for me, the mid-course brake run was on pretty hard the day I rode this. It must have slowed us down to like 5 miles per hour on the first ride, and that really took away from the drop out of the brakes. But it picked back up immediately, and the rest was insane. So this was in the front row, first ride of the day, and then I rode it for the last ride of the day in the back row. And the whole thing was even more awesome, especially the first drop. We were getting flung out of our seats before we were even going down. So the first half was just as awesome as before, but no noticeable difference to me. And then came the mid-course brake run. This time it only slowed us down to, I don't know, around 10 to 15 miles per hour, closer to 10 probably. Not nearly as much as the first time though. And man, that second half was brutal. Every single hill on this thing has stronger airtime than I've ever experienced on another coaster, except maybe Maverick. And without as much braking on that mid-course brake run, it was almost painful. Thankfully, the restraints are pretty comfortable, so my hands were up the whole time and I felt fine. You know, it wasn't a Magnum type feel. But man, I can't imagine how insane this thing must be with the mid-course brake run completely off. I'm pretty sure it was off before the incident, and obviously that doesn't have much to do with the incident since that happened on the final brake run. But hopefully that's it and they're just being extra careful for now. But we'll see. I don't really know. If you have any insight on that, leave a comment. So I know that I ain't gonna complain if it stays the way it is though. This is the most insane coaster I've ever ridden by far, and you know, I don't have a lot of credits, definitely not even 100. At the moment, I'm not exactly a traveling enthusiast, but I go to Cedar Point and Kings Island regularly, so I've had my fair share of intense coasters. Maverick was my favorite, just above Millennium Force, and I think Steel Vengeance beats it, but not by as much as I thought it would. In my opinion, Maverick is a completely different animal. I'd say Maverick focuses on that fighter jet feeling of positive G-force, along with the crazy laterals with those quick transitions. And then it does have a couple of incredible airtime hills. And Steel Vengeance focuses more on airtime. So Maverick is positive G's, Steel Vengeance is negative G's. And for airtime junkies, which how can you not be an airtime junkie? Steel Vengeance is gonna pretty much blow every coaster at Cedar Point out of the water. Or should I say, into the water. And one more extra note. I just have to say something about those last 6 little airtime hills for the finale. My gosh, those things are insane. First of all, it's like one of those moments where it goes right by the queue and it's kind of cool because everybody is watching you and you're watching them and you're just like, dang, y'all gotta try this thing out sometime. You know what I'm saying? And also, every one of those hills is really strong and you're just whipped up and down over and over. In fact, this might kind of sound weird, but the thrill factor kind of goes away here, and it's literally funny how much this ride is destroying your thighs at this point. Everybody on the train is laughing, and I can hear my mom behind me cackling because she's kind of scared, but at this point it's literally just hysterical how crazy this ride is. And then some people are even known to cry after they get off, cry tears of joy, you know, because it's just that good. It is truly an unforgettable experience. So it's safe to say that Steel Vengeance is just as airtime packed and intense as it is impressive with its stats. And that's a rare feat, even for Cedar Point. 10 out of 10, this thing is awesome. This is not a meme. Everybody stay positive, and remember, B&M sucks. See you guys.